Welcome to the Payments Experts Podcast, a podcast of global legal law firm, ISOs, fintech, PayFacs, agents, merchants, processors, acquiring banks, and card brands. If these terms mean something to you, this podcast is for you. If these terms aren't so familiar, this podcast is even more for you. We hope you enjoy this episode of PEP, the Payments Experts Podcast. Welcome to this episode of the Payments Experts Podcast, a podcast of global legal law firm. Today, we have the special guest, Alan Kopelman of Nationwide Payment Systems, and also the podcast, B2B Vault. Alan, welcome.
Thank you, guys.
We're here with James Huber, managing partner, global legal law firm. Gentlemen, jump right in.
Good morning, Alan. We've known each other quite some time, I think, at this point.
At least a decade.
Yeah, it's been fun. Before we got started, we had this topic we wanted to discuss, but we got kind of caught off by, I'm calling it a conspiracy theory of FedNow, and you agreed that, I'm not even calling it a theory at this point.
Oh, it's definitely the government is trying to take out all the banks, the crypto companies, and take out Visa and MasterCard in one fell swoop.
How are they going to take out Visa and MasterCard?
Because they want to come out with FedNow to move money, central digital currency, and they're going to, and that would basically decimate the banks. I mean, no bank is going to integrate FedNow so you can go into the grocery store and pay with FedNow. Can you imagine how much money First Data, Chase, Global Payments, TSYS, they would lose billions of dollars in revenue. And the card issuers, any bank that's issuing cards would cause billions of dollars in losses.
I know, but who's gonna, if it's the government, who's gonna, do you think the lobbying will work? Do you think they'll be able to stop it?
I don't think consumers will go along with it. I mean, basically, I've listened to it. I mean, basically, if you look at China, China has WeChat. Everything you do is on your phone in China.
Right.
And they basically surveil everybody. Okay. That's what FedNow is basically designed to do.
The scariest thing that I've heard so far, it actually was from Dale at the Green Sheets. She was saying, what if they put an expiration date on your money?
Yeah, they do that now in other countries. They give you negative interest. Oh, James has too much money. Alan has too much money, and they start taking away your money.
Better go spend it.
Redistributing wealth.
Yeah, I mean,
how long have we heard that?
Right. Well, yeah, and where does it get distributed to? I mean, back into the economy, isn't that good?
Yeah, it's going to go to whoever they want to give our money to.
Right.
Take money away from the rich and give it to the poor. It's like, modern day Robin Hood.
Well, I don't think the average consumer cardholder has that much of a problem. And at this point, I think everybody knows what Bitcoin is. And, let's say you're, living in wherever and you have no idea how to buy it. You heard it was the rage. You heard it crashed. But you still know, hey, this exists, and the government's doing it now. I mean, what are there going to be public interest groups? I see it mostly probably coming from the left, even though it's kind of a more right issue of don't tread on me. But I mean, who's going to go to bat on this?
I'm not sure, but you have this big push for this central digital currency coming out of the Biden administration, Janet Yellen. They're trying to push banks into doing it. I mean, right now, PNC Bank has a number of branches in South Florida where you can't get any cash. There's no ATM there, and you can't withdraw cash out of the bank.
What do you get?
Nothing. They won't do it. You have to go to a different PNC. It's a cashless PNC. I mean, they've been lobbying for the last couple of years to get rid of ATM machines. They want to get rid of ATMs. completely.
And what, they're giving you a token?
Yeah, no, they're not doing anything at PNC. If you want cash and you go into one of the cashless branches, they send you to a different branch. They have no cash in the bank.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I remember I flipped out on US Bank when I was in law school because I went in there and I was so angry that they wouldn't like cash a check and give me the money. And I was like, give me my money right now. And it was like $11,000 or something. We're like, we don't have it. This is downtown San Diego. So
Right.
are they trying to, I mean, what's the benefit of going cashless for a bank?
There
I mean,
is
we
no
know that.
benefit. They want to, well, you got tons of people, they got cash in safes. People have cash stashed in other places, you know, and it's become a hot mess. I mean, even now, I get questioned by my bank. I moved some cash to Betterment because they're paying 3% and Betterment pays 4.5% interest. So why shouldn't I make another 1.5 interest on my cash?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I don't
Yeah,
even
well,
know a bank that offers 3% still, unless you're at like a, Morgan Stanley or something. I mean, U.S. Bank, I think the mortgage or the interest in your savings account is like 0.0003%.
yeah, well, I work with Truist, which used to be SunTrust and BB&T. And they have money market is like around 3%. You can get a CD for about 4%, but you get 4.5% at Betterment. Charles Schwab is paying 4.5% in their money market too.
Yeah. Well, we jumped in a little fast, I think. Why don't we back out? Can you explain what FedNow um, totally entails? Like what, high level umbrella. What are they trying to do here?
So FedNow, basically, they want to have an app on your phone. So you walk into a store, you are able, just like Zelle or Cash App, but except it's FedNow. Exactly what they're trying to do already exists with Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Zelle. All of those things can send money back and forth, but it's a nightmare if you're a merchant because you're going to get a deposit for each transaction. Can you imagine a grocery store? Everybody's paying with Zelle, how many transactions they would have flowing into their bank account? Be a reconciliation nightmare. But FedNow basically is just moving money from your bank account to my bank account, or my bank account to a merchant's bank account. And the problem with that is it's, you compare it to other countries in the world, right? So in the US, we enjoy unsecured credit and a ton of benefits for using a credit card. We have consumer protection, we can do chargebacks, we have control over what credit card we want to get from what bank and all that. With FedNow, you're just going to have one choice. Oh, FedNow, just like WeChat in China. And then the government, they can decide, oh, sorry, Alan, you put too much gas in your car this week. We're not going to let you buy gas.
Right.
Or James, you're going out to eat too much. You know, you can't pay. We're not going to let you pay. I mean, how much there's going to be government oversight on what you're spending, how much you're spending, where you're spending. I mean, basically, the app would be able to track whatever you do and have a footprint on you, and the government would control that. And FedNow, basically, if they pass that, when you have to look at all the things that they're doing. So you have FedNow, then you got the central digital currency, and you couple those two together. That's central digital currency to get rid of cash, get rid of ATMs, and get rid of credit cards. Boom. And then everybody's stuck with FedNow. And then I don't know what would happen to all the banks and everybody's money and who would control all of that.
What about a
The
credit
central
card? I mean, they still want to
credit
have
cards
credit
would be
cards.
gone.
Well, I mean, isn't our economy is 70% based on consumer spending, right? And most of that,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say most of that, but a big portion of that is people on credit. So why would they get rid of credit cards?
because they don't understand Congress. There's one saying that I hear from every meeting that I monitor from the financial committees in the House and the Senate. innovation, business innovation outpaces regulation. They are so upset that they don't control everything, right? So because they don't control it and they don't understand it, they want to just get rid of it. I mean, here I went to Bitcoin 2023. Last year, there was 10 times the exhibitors. The convention was 3-4 times the size. 15,000 people showed up. The year before was over 35,000. Not one crypto exchange was there. No booths for blockchain.com, Coinbase. None of those companies showed up.
Wow.
None of the crypto processors showed up. They decimated the industry in the United States. So that's what they did in 1 year to cryptocurrency. Drove the price from 70 grand down to 25 to 30,000. I mean, it's alive in Europe, Asia. They're using crypto all the time for payments, but it's dead in the U.S. And the tax laws is the biggest reason for that. Those tax laws. I mean, there's another law in this. What's this? The debt ceiling, right? So now they're trying to add a 3.8% to 5% tax to small business owners. I mean, that's just going to cause prices to go up,
right?
And all this stuff, FedNow stuff, all this stuff is tied together. The bank failures, FedNow, cryptocurrency going down the tube, central digital bank currency. If you have central digital bank currency, what do you need a bank for? Do we need a bank?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you do. I think you need the digital wallet, and your payroll goes to that through them. They're watching it. If you owe child support, they're taking that right out. If you've got a parking ticket, utility bill, all of that, they're just swooping it. And I think it's scary. And, I see it as it's happening, and we're all kind of sitting here being like, no, that would never happen, and then it does, because it is happening. But wouldn't crypto survive, as the underground, when we all go live in the sewers and, I carry like a light wand? Wouldn't crypto be the saving grace for the resistance?
It could, but if they had control over everything, including the internet, how would you use crypto?
Sure. Well, now we've warped past, me living in the sewers. Now it's just a full, martial law state, the government controlling us.
China.
Yeah.
That's what we would have. We would be left with what they have in China.
So who's pushing the agenda? I mean, we've got, Joe Biden in there, who's, supposed to be, the people's people on, on the left-ish. But this seems more like something, red, government.
I don't think so. I think it's a lot more sinister than that. I think there's a lot of and another thing that I heard when I was at Bitcoin, Robert Kennedy spoke. I was like, is this guy a Democrat or is he a Republican or what is he? Because he was going nuts. He's like, all this stuff the government's doing is to set up a surveillance state in the United States. And he goes, the people need to fight back. And I'm not going to put up with that. I mean, everything they're doing, we've heard redistribution of wealth. That's from Obama when Obama came in office. Oh, we need to redistribute wealth. We need to redistribute wealth. Well, the only way they're going to be able to do that is to have central digital currency and take everybody's money away.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, and I agree. I think it's bigger than a party line here, but then maybe this is
definitely bigger than a party line.
But maybe this is the great unifier. You and I can take off my Bernie Sanders T-shirt, and you'll retire your whoever, DeSantis, whoever you flag you've got waving, and we come together and go, hey, this is not going to work for anybody. Let's just get somebody in the middle. Maybe this is the great unifier of, let's fight against actually becoming, a big brother state.
Well, everybody needs to realize what's going on. They're doing it in all these little pieces, and everybody's being fooled.
I agree. I mean, I think the banks collapsing, there is the very real explanation of, okay, their rates were too high. They've got all these underperforming assets and if people want their money, they have to sell it. But what triggered those bank runs for people to sell it was investigations. It was bad news about the bank, and the first three banks to go down were crypto banks, right?
Yep, exactly. They were all heavily involved in crypto.
And
all three of those banks.
And they just happened to go down, and now we have all the findings and everything, and they're going, oh, these guys are just mismanaging assets and this, that, the other thing. Well, it didn't get, it still shouldn't have collapsed. I know Wells Fargo is humongous, but you remember 7 years ago when they're opening up fake accounts for people and stealing money from their customers.
Well, that one lady who was in charge of that, she's, I think, going to jail now. But meanwhile, Sam Bankman-Fried, who ripped people off for billions, is sitting in a beach house over there in California by you guys.
Let's go find him. So what? But what does that have to do with anything? I mean, why do you think that they're trying to help out, him? I mean, I know he did a ton of lobbying. I think that was kind of his.
They're not helping him out with anything. They're just not doing anything to the guy.
Right.
He's just sitting there in a house. That's it.
Know where some skeletons are.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think but it seems like he kind of paid his way to
keep his freedom,
preferential treatment. Yeah, he stole all the money and then he redistributed the wealth straight to Congress and presidential candidates. So, all right. Well, what should people be doing about this? What should I be doing about this?
I think we got to figure out what's going on and lobby Congress, say we don't want central digital currency in the United States. And we're not for, all these increased taxes, because these increased taxes that they're doing, especially to small businesses, it's going to come back and it's going to just drive inflation through the roof. I mean, you had a 3.8 or 5% tax to a business, a retail business today, or any business, they're just going to either raise prices or add the tax on checkout to pay the taxes.
Yeah,
so the consumer's going to end up paying for it.
Right. And it's interesting because 3 years ago, we're all, touting small businesses as our heroes, and we'll do whatever. Yeah, I'll keep spending money. I'll spend all my, stimulus check to keep this place alive. I'll pay. Surcharging and discounting boomed over COVID because people are going, you know what, I'll pay for this because it's a luxury to be able to buy things online and have to support these. People are going out of business. So it's interesting to see it go the other way. And I wonder if it's like retaliation, everyone shouldn't have done this well during COVID. The companies that survived, everyone that survived thrived. It was like, Forrest Gump, getting all the shrimp.
Right. Yeah, it was either survive and thrive or go out of business,
Right. So what?
Sink or swim.
So what is it? What's the rationale behind cranking small businesses right now?
I think that Biden's policies have been very anti-small business, medium-sized business. They're all the policies that they have regarding tax and 80,000 IRS agents. I mean, they're basically targeting anybody who has any type of pass-through income from a business. That's who they're targeting.
I thought of something when I glazed over it because one, I think we can all agree Visa and MasterCard could use a little competition. They've got, way too much authority, and they're not regulated really at all. And they make their own rules, but then they don't enforce them. And, all
collective enforcement,
sure,
no,
but
selective,
absolutely. And you'd be surprised when I go into a courtroom and I'm going, Your Honor, this merchant is money laundering for all of these sub-merchants. And he's going, well, what law did he break? And I'm going, he's violating the Visa and MasterCard's rules. And he's going, those aren't rules until I get, an expert up on the stand and he's going, no, these actually are the only laws. And he's like, oh, okay, gotcha. But they're making their own rules. They're selectively enforcing them. They're wiping out, the surcharge industry with a single backhand slap.
I don't think they're wiping that out at all. Let me tell you, I was at an event. They had a 20% surcharge on all the food you bought.
Well, that would violate Visa's new regulation, the 3% cap.
Obviously, the merchant didn't care.
Yeah, well, yeah, they might care because I'm seeing people get fined on these things, but so
that's only. I think the fine anybody, and I think if enough merchants get fined, we're going to end up in a lawsuit. It's going to go before the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court's going to have to rule. Oh, what rule did they break? Durbin is a law,
right?
And this is a rule by Visa, not MasterCard. MasterCard said they didn't agree with Visa for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
MasterCard said, oh, we're staying at 4%.
Right. So, I like that Visa and MasterCard are, they're saying they're not worried about FedNow. They're going, we'll embrace it, we'll adapt. I'm guessing that's because they're going to be giving a seat at the table. We know that Visa and MasterCard's lobbying budget is humongous. You can't look it up anymore, unfortunately, but when you could, it was huge. And I'm sure it's gotten even larger. So and they're lobbying in every state. How would they get wiped out by this?
Well, they would get wiped out because there would be no more credit cards.
Yeah, but then
everybody be paying with FedNow.
Why aren't they sweating it, though? I've heard them say, we're not sweating it. We're going to change and adapt.
Because they're not going to do anything. Do you think you're seeing First FIS, Fiserv, TSYS, Global? I haven't heard anybody say, oh, yeah, we're dumping millions of dollars of development into FedNow. They're not doing anything. I've talked to 2 large ACH companies. Are you guys doing anything to help with FedNow? They said no. They said we'll lose a ton of money.
So they're just going to die on the vine? I think that Visa and MasterCard are going to be given some role in this.
I don't see how they're going to do it. First of all, what people don't understand is that the U.S. has a credit system of mostly unsecured credit. Okay. So that's our credit system. It's unsecured.
Right.
If I have a line of credit for $100,000, I didn't sign over my house or whatever. The bank just decided, hey, this guy puts up enough charges. He pays his bill every month. He's good for $100,000. James is good for $200,000 a month. Jeremy's good for 50, whatever it is. That's not how it works in other countries. In other countries, it's set up where it's your ability to pay. So you only have X amount of credit and you have to pay your bill. That's why when there's international credit cards taken by a merchant in the US and they get a chargeback, they can't fight it. The bank in another country does a chargeback, and that's the end of that. The merchant here loses their money. So all this BS that Visa, MasterCard, Discover, Amex puts out and says, oh, we have a global economy. There's no global economy when it comes to chargebacks.
It seems like it would have to be somewhat of a slow transition because, for example, FedNow, you're probably not going to be able to buy your illegal online, mushrooms that you've been taking every day and probably took a bunch this morning. Just kidding. But, are we going to go back to seashells for that type of thing?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are they FedNow? They could decide, hey, we don't want porn anymore.
Right.
So there's no more porn. There's no more CBD. There's no more marijuana. There's no more cash. You can't put an ATM in a dispensary, get cash out, and go buy marijuana. They could do they would have the ultimate control. Oh, we don't want you to drive on a gas car. We want you to go get a Prius.
Alan, right. Alan, what about all the Bitcoin believers? The guys that are saying, hey, Bitcoin is the only one, not the altcoins, but just Bitcoin, totally decentralized. You can never shut it down. What do you say to those
Well,
guys?
how would you buy it?
You won't be able to buy it anymore.
Rogue internet, like they do in the guys that know
Yeah,
how?
but buy it with what? What are you going to buy it with?
Right.
That's a good point.
And you got people now, I get emails all the time. Protect your future. Buy gold, buy silver, buy platinum, and put it in a safe in your house and have gold coins.
So that you can go around and barter.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, if they lock it down and where everything's a central digital bank, I mean, what's going to happen to the stocks that you have? You own a stock in a bank? Oh, sorry. You own 100,000 shares of Chase. Sorry, that's gone now. Bye. Your money's gone. I mean, this is a takedown to turn the United States into China. That's what I see.
Well,
It's a crazy theory to think about, but that's what it is.
well, I like it because I'm on board, but you're actually taking it quite a few steps further than where
Yeah, but look at what's going on in China. Go look up WeChat. If you're in China and you're going to go, let's say you live in an apartment complex, you have to go up to the gate with your phone. The phone opens the gate. Somebody knows where you are. You have to go open the front door. You got to go to the elevator. Why did you press floor 6, James, instead of 8? You don't live on 6. Who'd you go visit on 6? They know who you visited because the person needed to put their phone on the door to open it up and let you in their apartment.
right.
I mean, China is a surveillance state. Okay. FedNow is a way to surveil. And I'll tell you something else somebody mentioned. This guy, Robert Kennedy, mentioned it when he was speaking. And I said, you know what? This guy's right on. What did he say? He said that whatever the government has not been able to do in the last couple of years with Biden and the White House, they have done their bidding through private companies. So Facebook, they're not happy that Elon Musk owns Twitter because he's not their puppet, right? But Zuckerberg is their puppet. The guys at Google are their puppet, right? The people on TV are their puppets, right? So they're doing their bidding. I mean, they shut down a bank, right? They shut these banks down. Oh, we don't like crypto. Let's get rid of these banks and decimate them, right? So what did they do? They decimated. Who was banking at these banks? Tons of crypto companies,
Yep.
right? Those companies are now out of business. You don't see.
Well, no, they bailed them out.
No, they did not bail them out. They're not processing. The new owners of the bank are not letting them have bank accounts. So therefore,
right.
they can't operate their business where before Biden put his taxes in, we had merchants that were transacting in crypto. Oh, so you want to buy jewelry? Okay, give me $100,000 of Bitcoin. I'll give you the jewelry, and they're getting $100,000 in their bank account. That's shut down right now. That's done. That's not happening. Now, any kind of transaction involving crypto creates a taxable event. They're even taxing what you have, your crypto holdings.
Didn't
I don't know if you own any crypto.
Didn't that get cut or it made it back in?
What? No, that's in.
Oh,
that's
boy.
not out. That's it. You got to pay taxes on your crypto holdings. Listen, if it was up to them, whatever holdings you had in your stock account, they would tax that too.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the paying with crypto.
Yeah, it's done because none of those companies can operate. They don't have banking.
Right.
There's a guy local here. They're not operating. I mean, none of, and all these companies are moving offshore, right? So you got Binance moved offshore. I think Coinbase is moving out of the United States. They can't operate in the United States. The SEC is coming after Coinbase.
Right.
With a whole bunch of charges. They're just going to move out of the country.
Right. Right. I've said
that's what's happening.
I've defended people accused of white collar crimes, and we're in San Diego and they live in Mexico, and I kept going, why don't you just not come back? And it was interesting, and they couldn't. I was like, you've told me you have money buried all over your property, but they They liked it here, I guess. But yeah, no, these other companies, yeah, we're out.
Yeah, they're out. Look what FTX tried to do. They tried to, move everything offshore, whatever. They arrested this guy and they're liquidating all the real estate that guy owns and all that. And, but I'm sure that these political campaigns are not giving the money back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from our perspective, and I've got to wrap us up here. We've talked about what should people do, because this would entirely wipe out the industry that we love and flourish in. I don't see it happening overnight, but I mean, what should people be doing? I think, reading about this and
People
lobbying.
should study what FedNow really is. Look at what central digital currency is done in other countries, namely China. Okay. Everything has been stripped away there from the public. Everything is run by the government. You don't have any, there's no real private business going on there unless you own some kind of mega company, right? I don't know if you know the stories about, 3M, it's a US company, right? They do a ton of manufacturing over there. They wanted to ship a bunch of stuff to the US during the pandemic, and China said, no.
Nope.
You made it here, it's staying here.
Right.
And that was the end of that. And then we had a the nightmare of not having masks and all kinds of stuff that we needed that's made by 3M over in China. I mean, we cannot let China has the ultimate control. They're trying to grab control of the world right now. And then you see all this stuff fed now. It's all points that it's the next WeChat.
Right.
When you look at central digital currency, what happened to Bitcoin, these banks, and FedNow, and you put all that together, that spells out a road to WeChat.
I totally agree.
I mean, it sounds crazy, right?
It does, but it's happening in front of us. And it's one of those things, we're, looking around going, this seems to be happening. And you're saying Visa and MasterCard are just sitting out on their hands. They're going to die on the vine. What do they care?
They don't know what they're going to do. Like, who's going to, first of all, FedNow, there's no system. If you go read about it online, they're looking for people to program into FedNow. I don't see credit card processors unless somebody takes a gun to their head and forces them to do it. Just like Durbin, he wants to have this third network, right? The third network doesn't exist. The law was passed in 2010. James went away.
I'm still here.
Oh, the law was passed. Durbin was passed in 2010. We're in 2023, right? And then the FTC is going to rule. Oh, we need this third network. What third network? MasterCard. I mean, Amex didn't step up. Discover didn't step up. Shazam didn't step up. You don't see like some bank buying Shazam or any of these other small regional debit networks and going, okay, we're the third network. There is no third network. So the FTC thing, they slapped MasterCard on the hand yesterday. It means nothing, Well,
I got to say, now, if I owned XRP or one of these companies and the government said, hey, we'll give you $1 trillion, James, I mean, I'd probably give it to them.
You give them what?
I'll give them the whole program and they can have their FedNow system right there.
Right, exactly.
I'm for sale, Alan.
You're for sale?
Yep. $1 trillion.
Okay, just take care of me. Let's move to like Bora Bora or something.
Perfect. All right, sounds good.
Yeah, gentlemen, I was going to say after this podcast, I think I'm going to go find a cave to live in Montana or something. Yeah. Alan, why don't you tell us a little bit about nationwide payment systems? What do you guys do, and maybe a little bit about your podcast as well? Where can people find you?
Okay, so Nationwide Payment Systems has co-founded the company in 2001. We provide customized payment processing solutions for businesses. So it's not just like out of the box type of solutions. So we deal with anything from low risk to high risk, which was the original topic, but we got into FedNow. So that's cool. And the podcast, B2B Vault, we're 192 episodes in. The first episodes were really horrible, but now it's caught its legs. I mean, we're providing educational information for people that own businesses, want to own a business, or thinking about starting a business. And we talk about all the different subjects, and we talk about a lot about technology and how technology can change the game, make your small business look bigger, and how it can help you run your business smoother, and how it's important for businesses to really embrace technology today, because the cash register and a piece of paper, it doesn't cut it anymore. There's technology out there that's inexpensive and can help businesses run their business more efficiently and build customer loyalty and all that good stuff. So I have literally been doing this for 24 years, 22 years for my own company, and my mission is to help business owners that solve the payment puzzle.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today, Alan Kopelman. Check him out at B2B Vault Podcast. Thank you for being with us, James Huber. Give you the last word.
That's it, Alan. Thanks for coming on. We look forward to connecting again soon.
Y'all see you soon in Hollywood, right?
There you go.
All right. Thank you guys for having me on the podcast today. Peace out.
All right.
Carpe diem. Seize the day.
Thanks, Alan. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Payments Experts Podcast. New episodes, first and third Thursdays. If you're interested in learning more about PEP and how Global Legal Law Firm may be able to assist you, please visit us at globallegallawfirm.com. To schedule a free consultation, give us a call at 888-846-8901 or email us at pep@attorneygl.com. And once again, thank you for listening.
1, 2